Alright guys, the insanity around this incredibly woke game Dustborn continues to escalate, and this is actually going to be part one of a two-part video that I'm going to do. I'm going to release the first part probably here in about half an hour, and then the second part will be live for anybody who's not a channel member at about 6 a.m. my time tomorrow morning. So stay tuned for that. It has got a lot of information in it, tons of stuff to go over. So this game Dustborn, it's pretty much the most cringy, unhinged, lunatic video game that's ever existed, where essentially you're using words or music as violence against fascists or whatnot. We've seen some incredibly awful videos come out of it, like this one here. Okay, just cringe, right? Absolutely horrifying stuff. And of course, this one here where Lavender Gas says it's impossible to parody.
Fella you're with, the black kid, dresses like a writer. Does he know anything?
Trigger.
You are racist.
You are racist. Absolutely. Now, this game, of course, has tens of people currently playing it. Massively unsuccessful on Steam. Currently only 20 in-game here tonight. So again, this game is complete crap. Nobody's buying it. I think they've probably sold maybe a couple hundred copies, and most of that is probably to the developers and their families. However, as covered by Smash JT here, we have a developer for Dustborn who has gone on the attack after getting caught stealing game assets from GTA. I am not even kidding. This is pretty unhinged stuff. So, the article here says, caught by Madam Savvy on X. She's left many of us now wondering about the integrity of Red Thread's latest release, Dustborn. Allegations have surfaced regarding the game's apartment layouts and how they look to be a direct ripoff of those found in the wildly popular GTA Online, sparking waves of criticism across social media. And of course, you can see the original tweets right here. And these rooms are pretty much identical. Even this one here, all they did was flip it, and so it's essentially mirrored, but it's exactly the same setup. Exactly the same room. And of course, the developer is a complete unhinged lunatic as well, as you can see by her profile picture. Of course, Smash JT says blue hair check. Also, that dog has seen some shit. I would have to agree about that. Now, she has painfully attempted to dismiss the copying claims with quips and sarcasm and failed miserably, says Smash JT. She quote tweeted this tweet here with all the pictures from GTA, says, "This is the funniest shit I've ever seen. Dude, why do you care?" Then also went on to say, "I want to smoke their stash. It's got to be so dank," talking about the criticism. And then went on to say, "I'm sorry to inform you that GTA 5 uses pre-made assets, boo." To which someone replied, "Pre-made assets taken from whose games? Their own." Again, her excusing stealing assets as essentially being something that everybody does is not surprising at this point. And of course, she has been freaking out, reacting very negatively towards people criticizing this game for the woke piece of crap that it is, saying things like, "I love that they think that they had any hand to play in the situation at all. No, F you, I'm not going to be nice to you when you're being a dick to me, cry about it, I guess." And then went on to criticize Grums as if he was some sort of e-beggar when he's trying to fund his video game, after he pointed out that the studio behind Dustborn received loads of EU tax money. And that's another thing we'll get into later on. But again, this person here, I actually managed to screenshot some of her posts before she went private because I had a feeling that she would be soon protecting her account. And of course, you can see some of her opinions here about men and gamers, saying 50% of gamers are women, responding to Liz Wheeler's absolutely retarded survey that she had shared before. Men as a concept was cooked. Men are the weakest link truly. I'll put knitting men and sexy non-binary peeps in your video game and I will never stop. Be afraid, I come not in peace. That sounds more like a threat to me than anything else. Then there was this one here, which I found really funny. Wow, do not read the comments on the Goodbye Volcano High trailer on YouTube. Sometime in the future, gamers might realize that everything isn't made to cater specifically to you, and that's okay. Personally, can't wait to fulfill my dream of being a gay dinosaur. And of course, you can see after Smash JT and several other people called her out, she went to protected mode. But she's talking about this game of Goodbye Volcano High, which has been ridiculed and roasted into the ground. The comments on this YouTube trailer are absolutely hilarious. People saying that they want to play the asteroid just so they can just, destroy the Earth in this game. Again, some sort of weird Tumblr art thing, which is what all these people get into. Thea Berg, who is the developer we've been discussing, who admitted to or said what's the big deal essentially with stealing game assets, is one of these people who just gets into designing these narrative-driven Tumblr art, weird walking simulator things, and that's all she's ever really done. And again, it is really funny that these people all have the same art style. None of them seem to be able to create anything of value on their own. And this one I found especially interesting because on her projects on her website, she has remake of Chloe Price's bedroom from Life is Strange. Why Life is Strange? Well, that's another interesting story we'll get into in a minute. I remade Chloe Price's bedroom from Life is Strange Episode 1 to get a better understanding of Unreal Engine 4. I spent most of my time setting up all the assets and learning how to properly light a level in Unreal. Then she goes on to say, all assets are directly from the game and therefore the property of Don't Nod Entertainment. I do not own this, I only use them as a tool for learning. Using these and saying I don't own these after defending stealing assets for Dustborn. Okay? Now, even if they didn't directly steal the assets, she essentially defends the action that could, be construed as stealing these assets. Absolutely brain rot level of thinking. Now, we're going to get more into the studio itself now, or at least the Quantum Dream, the publisher of the game. Quantum Dream, as you can see, in their About Us values part of their website, says that their values are passion, creativity, diversity, and inclusivity, team spirit. And of course, diversity and inclusivity has a lot to say. It says, Quantum Dream upholds the values of diversity and inclusivity since its inception 25 years ago. Unique and different, each member of our team was recruited for their talent and personality and for who they are as a human being. This diversity of perspective is reflected not only in our team, but also in the experiences we create. Now, again, it's important to note that Quantum Dream is not the actual developer of this game. They are just the publisher. So again, Thea Berg is not a Quantum Dream employee. However, this fits in line with everything the publisher believes in. What's even funnier now is I did some deep diving onto the actual cast and crew of Dustborn, and the three writers are three people named Ragnar Tornquist, who, from what I can tell, is just a Swedish guy. I'm sure he's probably like that male feminist cuck type, but who knows? Then we've got Giselle Francis, who is interesting. Giselle Francis, who has actually worked on Life is Strange and also identifies, of course, as she, her, but is a game designer and storyteller with 5 years of experience designing levels and writing stories for games. Says, I believe that game design and narrative go hand in hand. The game's feel and mechanics, what the player can do and see, all contribute to a story's world building. I enjoy tinkering with the rules to a world along with filling with characters that let the world breathe and feel real. My favorite genres to write are fantasy, mystery, and romance. I enjoy writing flawed characters who have human struggles even if the world they live in is otherworldly. I am an advocate for diversity and representation in games. I believe that it is important to see yourself in games and to be the one to tell your own story. And of course, she has a speaking appearance at the Afro Latinx in Gaming Roundtable, a YouTube video whose comments are turned off and has more dislikes than likes, has only been watched by 161 people. Absolutely embarrassing. The other writer, Jess Arian, this one's a doozy. So from her own LinkedIn account right here, Jess Arian is an editor at Red Thread Games and has been there for 3 years and 4 months. Also has a very large list of things as far as experience goes, where she's been working as a teaching assistant, an intern at Harvard Foundation for Intercultural and Race Relations, summer intern at Harvard University Press, undergraduate mentor. But if you scroll down here to the volunteering side, Harvard Square Summer Shelter, supervised other volunteers, managed donations, raised funds, cooked meals, basically all around wholesome stuff for about 3 months there. This one here, though, is much more interesting. Harvard first-year urban programmer as a steering committee member. Organized a pre-orientation program for incoming first-year Harvard undergraduates, introducing them to community service and activism in the greater Boston area. Specific responsibilities included securing housing, raising funds, managing donations, etc., etc. Activism, though, and you could say, hey, that's not that big deal. It's just part of being a community outreach manager, member, whatever you want to call it. But when you scroll down to her publications, this is one of the few ones that pop up. This from an article that she wrote for Killscreen, Kids Used Club Penguin to Protest Against the President-Elect by Jess Arian. As an American college student, I am no stranger to protests. In the past month, I've attended roughly 2 or 3 per week regarding issues like healthcare, systematic racism, discrimination against undocumented students, and most recently, our president-elect. After the election on November 8th, protests immediately began appearing all over the country. In Boston, thousands took to the street the very next day, going out to marching crowds filled with signs saying things like "Not my president" and "I'm with her" is one way to exercise freedom of speech and express dissatisfaction, but not always the safest. With these gatherings escalating and causing property damage and arrests being made with the use of pepper spray, political protests aren't exactly family-friendly events. And then just goes on with her unhinged ranting about, the world and politics as she sees it. But these are the people who made Dustborn, and I find this incredibly telling. And like I said, guys, there's more to this. There's a lot more. We're going to get into Red Thread as a development studio. We're going to get into the money, the funding behind them. So just be ready for that in the morning. That's going to go live at 6 a.m. It's going to be live in a couple hours for members, and then it'll be live for everybody at 6 a.m. Pacific time. So again, I'm going to wrap this up. I'm going to leave it right there. Leave a comment down below what you think about all this, and I will catch you guys on the next one. All right, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have 2 channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.